And hello, movie lovers, and welcome to the show. So, tonight I am going to be reviewing Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. This is going to be a spoiler review, so I hope that you guys have seen it. If you haven't, go on ahead. Just if you want to just chill out in the live chat, go on ahead, do that too. View this video as you do. And so, let's further ado, let's go on ahead. Let's review Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. And hello, movie lovers. So, I just got back from seeing Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, and I have to say, I didn't enjoy this one as much as I wanted to. Here's the thing: I thought that Ghostbusters Afterlife was actually the better one, a better movie than this one, because it was like this love story for Howard Ramis, who passed away, and it was basically a perfect way of actually putting into perspective of having a new cast being able to take over the franchise and things like that too. So I thought that was a perfect way to be able to give us a new Ghostbusters movie. And of course, you also have small cameos from Ghostbuster Afterlife. So I thought that the way that they had ended on that note and everything with Ghostbusters Afterlife, I thought it would be just as good as this one. And yes, they did pull the nostalgia stuff in Ghostbusters Afterlife and things like that too. But this one was like very heavy handed with the nostalgia factor, with the fact that it's like, oh, okay, so we're gonna put the little marshmallow men. Who I believe, if you think about it like this, little marshmallow men kind of reminds me of Gremlins because they keep on multiplying every single time when you look at them. But it's like, okay, so people loved the little marshmallow men, so we're gonna go ahead and put them in this movie. So therefore, we're gonna do that. Then it's like, well, I think I know a guy that's into this. Next thing you know, it you see Bill Murray pop up, and then you see Ernie Hudson pop up, and then you see all these other cameos that are just for the sake of having these cameos and stuff like that. So I felt like the cameo stuff for me just didn't work the way I wanted it to work or anything like that. Unlike Ghostbusters Afterlife, I thought the cameos worked in its own way. But when you look at Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, it's just like they hit you with nothing but cameos. It's very disjointed. It's all over the place and stuff like that. Now, as far as the monster goes and stuff like that, I thought that was really good. I thought that was the very interesting factor, especially with the whole entire probe that they use to actually have the ghost inside it. So it kind of reminds me of, basically Hellraiser in a sense. And so I like that aspect to it because you have that mystical kind of effect to it, to where you actually are invested into this investigation and things like that too. So that part actually feels like a Ghostbusters movie as well. So that's something I really liked. And of course, even Finn Wolfhard, who played Trevor, is actually pulled in the back corner right in this movie. But the soul and heart of this, of course, is none other than Emily. Basically, you have Egon's granddaughter, and she's actually up front and center this time. She's investigating this whole entire ghost investigation. I thought that worked out really well. This is actually why you go see a Ghostbusters movie. So I thought that was actually pretty neat. Roxy, hey, how you doing? I'm glad that you commented it below. But yeah, that's actually why you go ahead and see a Ghostbusters movie is for this investigation. So I thought that worked out pretty well. What falls apart as well is you actually have one of the actors from Eternals in this movie, and he's basically supposed to be Rick Moranis in a sense because of the fact that he's actually called the Fire, basically the Fire Master, and so Keymaster, Fire Master. I was like, okay, so they're playing off of that narrative. They even do like a little small callback to Ghostbusters 1 where basically they put this little helmet over his on his skull and everything to find out the brain patterns and stuff like that to see if he's actually telling the truth. That part made me laugh a little bit, but his character feels very disjointed, to be honest with you. It makes me feel like when that stuff just didn't land for me as well as I wanted it to, because it's like, okay, you have these horror elements right here, and then you have this little small comedy parts right here, and then you have him, and you're trying to figure out what to do with him. It's almost like he's in a different type of film, and I really was hoping that they would actually knock this one out of the park, just like they did Afterlife. And they really missed to be honest with you, they really missed the marker with this. And the whole entire reason why the Ghostbusters Afterlife worked is because of the fact that you actually had Harold Ramis's son in working on this film. Yes, he's attached to the script and everything on a writer, Jason Rittman, but it's actually Gil Cannon who is actually the writer for this. And you can definitely tell this film is very disjointed when it comes down to that. But the monster itself, I really liked. I thought he was haunting. I thought he was menacing. I thought this monster was really scary because you're not sure these proton packs are going to work against him. He winds up freezing the protons, and then they have to figure out another way to go ahead and take him down. And then Bill Murray comes in there, and of course, he has his one-liners. And I liked how he said, "Oh, look, it's tall, dark, and horny." So I thought that comedy aspect actually worked for that. But then you have the guy who's supposed to be like the environmental guy who tried to shut him down in the first Ghostbusters movie, and I'm like, why is he the mayor of Ghostbusters? Other than the fact that he wants to be a douchebag um, to basically Paul Rudd's character and stuff like that too, because of the fact that he tried shutting down the Ghostbusters in the very first one. So that's the only reason why he's there. And of course, you actually have Slimer in this one. I really like seeing Slimer there, but they tried pulling all these strings to make this work, and I'm actually feeling the runtime of an hour and 55 minutes. I think that this should have been cut down to at least an hour and 30, to be honest with you, just to basically just even out a little bit to maybe have some of these characters to where can care about them. And of course, I like Paul Rudd's character because he's also wondering what he should do or shouldn't do as a step parent as well. Because of the fact that he's like, hey, should I be an asshole? Should I not be an asshole? What should I do? And the mother's like, look, you need to be an asshole. You cannot be their friend. So I like that aspect to it because it's relatable in a sense because I'm a step parent. So therefore, I actually know how Paul Rudd feels. So I thought that was pretty cool on how they played that off. Then I liked the little Gatling gun that they have whenever you look at the when you wind up seeing the Ghostbusters car and stuff like that. So I thought that was actually pretty. Some callbacks to the cartoons was pretty cool. But as far as the narrative, as far as the movie goes, it wasn't what I thought I was going to get. And I love the Ghostbusters movies. I loved every single one of them, all except the 2016 one or 15 one. But I thought Afterlife was a nice callback to getting us started back to making us care about this franchise again and to make us want to care about it. And I just felt like that this one missed the marker. But underneath all that, though, like I said, I thought the villain was really cool. Like I said, it kind of reminds me of Hellraiser. And you're scared to death because of the fact that you're wondering how they're going to kill this guy. And then also, too, I thought there was going to be more to this whole entire deal where you actually have the fire master, who's actually supposed to be the key master kind of vibe to it. Like there's supposed to be this danger of them two meeting, just like in the first one. But no, it's just him playing with a candle, trying to figure out his power so we can stop this beast of a monster. And that doesn't work. There's also some other stuff that was in the trailer that's not even in this movie at all. That I thought that was going to be cool, but it wasn't there. Like for instance, you have Annie Potts answering the thing as a secretary, going, "Ghostbusters, what do you want?" That was not in there. You don't have Paul Rudd up on top of the building with the kids or anything like that. Then they tried putting in some of these the characters from Ghostbusters Afterlife, and they just take a back seat. For instance, you have the podcast guy in there. He doesn't really do much in this. You have Celeste O'Connor, who plays Lucky. She's in this, supposed to be an intern for Winston, who built this whole entire investigation of how ghosts work and things like that. Things like that. But I just felt like some of the new characters that we were introduced from Ghostbusters Afterlife just kind of took like the back seat. And Harold Ramis's granddaughter, I thought, is a standout as always, just like in Afterlife. It was more power driven. It's more focused on her, which is something that I really liked about that and the investigation that she was trying to do. But it just wasn't what I was expecting when going into it. I was like, okay, I'm on board. I'm ready for another Ghostbusters movie. I'm ready to see how this movie works. And I just felt the runtime. I just wasn't really that into it like I wanted to. But what do you guys think? Are you guys did you guys like this at all? I want to know. Tell me in the comments if you've actually seen Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, or if you haven't seen it, or you think about going to see it. But I'm not trying to change your mind or anything. I'm just trying to give you what I think that worked for me, what didn't work for me, and what fell flat for me. And there's even that one other scene with Dan Aykroyd too inside the library. They do a callback to Ghostbusters 1 where he's in the library in the basement area. And you know that one scene in the library where you actually have that ghost and she's and then all of a sudden Ray goes, "Get her!" And then and yeah, they had that scene in there. And it just doesn't work as strong as it did in the very first Ghostbusters movie. It's just there because it's there, and it doesn't really do anything for the story of the plot. It's just nostalgia just for the sake of having nostalgia there and things like that. Ernie Hudson's there just for a few minutes because of the fact that he's supposed to be this guy who winds up making this basically just making this place for Ghostbusters to trap Ghost in this building to study Ghost, and they have that element in it. But when you look at the probe, when you look at the monster in itself, that's that to me is the most coolest thing that I can think of because I just liked how it looked. I just thought it was haunting. I thought it was like, oh my gosh, how are they going to stop this thing? Um, but yeah, all in all, I have to say, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire is going to have to thaw out in order for us to basically want to go see another make me want to go see another one right now. But you know, I love this franchise. I love the first two Ghostbusters, even in Ghostbusters Afterlife. Um, and this also always Ghostbusters was always one of those movies that always held close to my heart as a kid. That I really loved as a kid. And I also had their action figures. I watched the cartoons every Saturday morning and things like that. I just wanted a little bit more, and I just didn't get it as much as I wanted it to, unfortunately. But if you guys go see it, go on ahead and check it out. Have a good time. Let me know what you guys think. Tell me in the comments below and everything too, because it doesn't matter what I think; it's matter what you guys think too. Because I care about what you guys have to say about this movie. But the other cool aspect of this is at the very beginning in 1904 in New York City, the firefighters actually respond to a call and find a room full of archaeological hobbitses frozen to death while a spectral chant plays on the phonograph. The only survivor is a woman in an ancient suit of armor clutching a bronze orb. So the orb thing is the most interesting thing in this movie in itself. And then, of course, you also have, Collie Spangler and her boyfriend Gary Grissom and her children Trevor and Phoebe being taken up residence now they're actually in the firehouse now, living over there. And I thought that was actually pretty cool on how they actually brought that into it. And Phoebe is just trying to figure out herself, trying to figure out what she wants to do because basically the douchebag from the very first Ghostbusters movie basically tells her, "Hey, look, you cannot be a Ghostbusters because you're underage," and things like that. So I just thought that it was an okay movie. It was just okay. It wasn't what I wanted. So that's going to be it as far as this review goes. I know this is kind of short, but that's my initial thoughts on Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. If you guys want to go in and comment real quick, if you guys have any questions for me, or if you guys are going to go see Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. If not, I'm going to go in and close out. But like I said, it just needs to thaw out a little bit before they decide to make another one, or they just need to go on ahead and get Harold Ramis's son to go ahead and write a whole entire script because Gil Cannon pretty much screwed the pooch on this one, in my opinion. So, with that being said, guys, I hope everyone has a great and safe night, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. And later.